Hello, friends. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation for my page. I'm so happy at this stage because this page is not just a Facebook page for me. It is the first step of my vision to do something, like finding my purpose and go with that. This is my first step, and I feel so blessed to be here finally. And I've been waiting for my parents' support, so they should understand. um, I I'm a victim of depression, a long-term depression. I first time um, being in friendship with the depression while I was 13 years. This is what I would like to share with you, because I believe only the a responsible society can make a healthy generation, a healthy society, their next generation. So for me, everyone will have a depression story. So my story is this: I fell into depression, like falling in love. The same way I fell into depression, we could say that, those who are going through depression, we could say that. So first time I fell into depression while I was 13, and I will share my story with you. That you can imagine, I was 13, and I've been told by an adult person who was who is very responsible. Like, my mom was a high school teacher, and she was my neighbor. So she is also a teacher, high school teacher. So she's teaching students like me, like my mom. So that's what I was seeing in her. And her a daughter was my friend, same age. So this is the connection. So, but how she handled the situation and what she said to me, and the reason behind it, or the intention behind it, was really triggering for me, for the how the fairness of her judgment, because me and her daughter was there was a competition in studies, and how she tricked this and she made the statement, it was really tragic. And this was the situation. I went into depression, and what is happening with me, even my poor parents didn't understand. My parents never understand, because depression is very subtle, and it is not obvious to see, from the person's behavior, but I was going through depression from there. I couldn't sleep. I never feel happy after that. I never feel contented, and it was a long time I went through it. And in my previous videos, I shared how this, what is the stage, what happens in the brain, the signs of depression, the amygdala hijack. Actually, the science behind this is, when we are into conflict, when our logic, the existing logic we have, does not able to explain what happened at that point, and when our logic is overruled, then it goes to amygdala, and immediately the shutdown. So complete emotions are shut down, and the logic, we have this logic, the prefrontal cortex, the logic, that part is responsible for the thinking, learning, and logical thinking, and all those aspects, decision making. So this part and the amygdala is completely responsible for emotions. Okay, so this both goes in hand. Okay, when this shutdown happens, what's the first stage is the complete emotions shutdown. Only the basic emotions will be there, to protect us. And then our basic response will be like, whether I am right, you are wrong. That's the only argument we have, because we are in a survival mode. Okay, and if it is not resolved at that stage, it will go to the next stage. Next stage is the anger. Then we, in normal case, we will be able to understand the different perspectives. If someone says something, we are able to understand the different perspective, and logically think and decide, okay, which is the proper one I have to take. But when amygdala is shut down, and the prefrontal cortex function is bypassed, that is, we got the cognitive dysfunction. Okay, so in this stage we are in the survival mode. Okay, so if someone says something, we will never be able to perceive the different aspects as we usually do. We will either say you are right, you are wrong, I am right, and we will argue. Okay, this will go like this, and even then it's not resolved. Then the next step is the amygdala, this response will delete the memory related to this incident, and the synthesis, the process synthesized, the process of synthesis to this shutdown. Okay, and that memory will be completely depleted. Okay, so the people for whom the amygdala hijack happened in early stages of life, they are highly sensitive towards conflicts. Okay, so they usually, once this happens, the body make high guards around them. So they keep strong boundaries. They will not allow people inside after that. Okay, so they will be strongly guarded. Okay, and if again, but their amygdala is highly sensitive, whenever they get hurt, if they feel bad and they go through conflicts, and if it's not resolved, immediately again this shutdown happens. It's a repeated process. Okay, so whenever the shutdown happens, then the time interval between the two shutdowns, that memory, that will be deleted. That means the person who is under depression, he will be leading a life of without any emotion. That means his emotional life will be absent, because it is intermittent shutdown happens. So there is no continuity in emotions, or there is no continuity or stability in his emotional life. Okay, so for a normal person, the prefrontal cortex, the logical thinking, the reasoning, and there is a synchronization between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex and the hypothalamus, and there is a harmony in between all this. Okay, for a depressed person, this harmony will be destroyed. Okay, so they don't have a proper emotional stability. Okay, so this is how the life of a person with depression differs from a normal person. For a normal person, whenever there is a conflict, there is a fight, whatever it is, nothing will happen, because they will bounce back to their normal status. There is no serious damage happened. Okay, but for a depressed person, their trauma happened in early young age, and this is thus the amygdala became sensitive, and the shutdown happens intermittently. So this is why the person, the people with the depression, they can't be happy, because this amygdala is responsible for the release of the happy hormone serotonin, and feeling, the achievement. When we feel successful and then dopamine is released, we don't feel that, because it is completely messed up, damaged. That system is not working. Okay, so we don't have that kind of emotional response in the brain. So the person who is going through depression will not feel happiness, will not feel successful, will not feel happy when get rewards, will not feel anything being in a relationship. It's hard. It's really hard. I can completely understand that, because I went through and I was going through this long time. And that's why the people who has trauma in very young age, because of their emotional amygdala shutdown, their emotional stability is compromised. They will be withdrawn from the society, and they will be introverted, and their everything, their function, they how they live is completely on prefrontal cortex, because so their logical thinking will be highly developed, and they will try to understand what happens in them. So usually at a later stage they will come up as more emotionally intelligent people, because they can sense what happens with others. So why I'm here, and why my mission is this, and why I feel this is my purpose, because my parents or my dad's influence, or my dad asked me to do research on cancer, but at this later stage I told him, no, that's not my purpose. There are lots of brilliant minds, they are doing the research on that, they will find it. This is my purpose, because even the person with cancer still can be happy with his or her partner, his or her family, being fulfilled with a bucket list, going for a holiday. They enjoy, they are happy, they can be. When we compare to the disease, the depression, when the person is going through depression, even though it is associated with disease, when the person is going through depression and the long-term depression, people, no one can understand them. They have cognitive dysfunction. The current medicines available is only for the mood swings, and how to manage stabilize their mood. That's the main, the drugs. This is the recent um, research article says. I went through the research articles related to this, how they manage the cognitive dysfunction. Now only they are coming, the science is coming and telling this cognitive dysfunction also should be taken care of along with just managing the mood swings. So we for the people who is going through depression, we have to, I would like to take care of the factors, so that we can take the control of this, complete control of this. The first thing, the person who is going through depression, how they can come out of depression and how to work on them, and how they can come back to their emotional freedom, emotional stability, and what to do for that. And the second thing, the people around the person who is going through depression, and what they can do for them. It's very, very important for the recovery of the person with depression. And the third one, how we can make awareness in the society that the person with the depression is accepted and supported at their job, at their workplace, and wherever they go. So it's very important, because this is why I'm doing awareness on this. I would like to do awareness on depression, because what the person is going through, no one understands, because it is not obvious. And I would like to explain this completely, the science behind this, what is happening in the brain, and why the person is feeling this way. The person who is with depression, they can't experience happiness. They will never experience happiness until they come out of the depression. And it is a repeated cycle. They are caught up in that. I managed myself without any medicines. I wanted someone to understand me. I was a young child and I was studying, and I wanted someone to understand me, but no one was there. I was helpless. My parents are there, but they don't understand. And I don't know how to tell them. This is how the person with the depression is going through. We should understand that. The first step, what we can do, if your friend is going through depression, if your partner is going through depression, if your family member is going through depression, this is what you can do. Is I would like to give the awareness, I would like to spread this message. You should understand that this is what they are going through, what is happening in their brain. They are helpless. And please don't stigmatize. It's our responsibility to support them. I don't want any more suicide by this. I'm here. I'm a survivor. I went through those edges, but I came back. I walk towards the hell. I went through the hell and I came out. I can completely understand what is it. And when I came out, only because I went through 3 deliveries and body went through complete rebuilding the chemical balance, so that I was lucky I came out. And when I came out, when my brain started working properly, like that harmony, I was blind. How a blind person got vision, and how when how happy he or she will be when seeing this universe, the beauty of the universe. That's how I was feeling. And when it is taken away from me, where I requested some support because I was feeling low and I was alone and I needed some support. And when they don't realize my boundaries, I requested, this is my boundary, I can't go beyond this. And consistently pushing me towards that, and I crossing my boundary, that put me under depression again, because my amygdala is highly sensitive. But I take this an opportunity. I was observing, I was witnessing, what is happening again, this the second time. And I came out of it. I would like to say, throughout my depression, I didn't take any medication. I managed by myself. And I relied on the spiritual path and spiritual practice, the meditation, mindfulness, presence of mind. It really helped me. That's how I managed myself and came out. So it is possible. So I would, if anyone would like to go through this process of managing the depression without medicine, it is possible. I will share how the spiritual path or the spiritual knowledge, that really helped me a lot, that how the science behind it, how the spiritual path, the spiritual practice, the meditation, it helped in depression, that I will share in a different episode. This is the journey, how we can prevent the suicide from depression, how we can support people with depression. It is a responsibility of all of us. By understanding this, I explain the science behind it. We should stop the further suicide. No more suicide, We should take a promise. We should take a pledge. We will prevent it. This is my mission. This is my purpose. I'm a clinical research scientist. I was taking my steps towards that, but I'm leaving all that, and I'm following my purpose. And I will use all my research skills from now onwards for the well-being of the people suffering through depression. Now, it's a serious disease in the society. So I would like to do whatever I can do in this. I would like to use all my research skills if I can do what I can do in this. Thank you so much for listening. It's a long video, but this is the first video or the intro for this page, why I started this page, what I want to do. Thank you so much for listening.